Let's take it to the socials next, and Ayanda Sishi Wigzell is with me to talk about the stories that got you telling stories this past week. Ayanda, good evening to you and welcome. We're going to talk about the developments in the Joburg City Council in just a moment. Of course, we have a new mayor. I don't know if that's quite trending yet because it just happened today, but let's look at his predecessor, and this is Dr. Mpho Phalatse. Let's listen to this, and then we'll open up the discussion. So I know that our viewers couldn't see Ayanda's reaction, but it was something, and we're going to talk about it in a moment. So Dr. Mpho Phalatse may be bruised, but she is buoyant. She's out, and of course we have a new mayor in. But it is bizarre that, you know, that song, and I think Action SA was leading the charge, that wedding song at the end of that decision. How did it go down on social media?
To you, Iman, and good evening to all of the SABC viewers. Social media really, I haven't seen the clip properly. I only saw a small bit of it, but social media was buzzing because obviously we know that the former mayor Mpho Phalatse is married to a member of Action SA, and so that is why that wedding song was being sung when Action SA said, you know, that of course they are in the house and that they will be declaring for Mpho Phalatse to be the mayor come the vote of confidence vote. So that is why it was a little bit petty, to say the least, because we do know that it is a private matter between Mpho Phalatse and whoever she chooses to be married to. But it was really interesting to note that in a political space that her personal life is being used in this manner, and particularly in this incredibly petty way. But of course we now know that the former mayor did lose the motion the vote of no confidence, and we have a new mayor in Johannesburg, Thapelo Ahmad from Al Jamar, which is a minority party, has just been elected. Actually, it's about a couple of hours ago.
2 hours ago,
yes,
so maybe, yeah.
He has just been elected now as the new mayor of Johannesburg, promising that he's going to professionalize the city council and bring change to the city council as well.
Well, Mpho seemed to be, Dr. Phalatse seemed to be pretty, you know, she took it in her stride. She seemed to be, you know, okay with it in a sense, the way if you look at the visuals and her reaction. And I think, you know, these are days to see how long Mr. Ahmed stays in place, given the shenanigans in the Joburg City Council. So I want to move on really quickly because this is the other big story. The not too unexpected decision to raise interest rates by 25 basis points. Normally maybe not too much grumbling, but next to everything else, including approval for a raise in Eskom's rates in the darkness that is South Africa right now. Not too popular, I suspect, on social media.
Absolutely not popular. I was speaking to a couple of work colleagues of mine, and one of them just said that they literally just fell on the floor and, you know, just sick with worry. And that is what the sentiment on social media has been. People have been worrying about the fact that their bonds are going to be rising as well, and car installments are going to be rising, but also the fact that the repo rate is also increasing the food prices as well.
Well, let's see what the Reserve Bank governor had to say in making that announcement.
The MPC decided to increase the repurchase rate by 25 basis points to 7.25% per annum with effect from the 27th of January 2023.
And that's when we had a collective sigh around South Africans, everyone who has debt.
Yes, absolutely. People are already starting to question how is it that they're going to be able to live and survive for the next couple of months. We know that in February there's going to be a petrol increase that is going to come into effect in the month of February. So people are already worried about how is it that they're going to survive. Also with load shedding as well, it's putting an added cost on the groceries this month because of the fact that we need to be eating really quickly. People's appliances are also breaking down, and we're seeing a rise in electrical fires and people's appliances being broken down as well. So on social media, people are really worried, and the question comes in: is our country actually failing right now? Are we in crisis? How are we able to hold things together? And when is the country actually going to shut down, as we've seen in other parts of the country, especially in municipalities such as Queenstown, where people are protesting? People are actually asking now, when is enough going to be enough, and when is the straw going to finally break the camel's back?
Well, you talk about a shutdown, or you use the word a shutdown. So the DA did its version of a protest, or took to the streets this week, going to the ANC's headquarters to, protest, amongst other things, load shedding, which is a big problem for us right now. How did that go down? Was it a ripple, a wave, or a tsunami?
I would say it was a little bit of a ripple. And the reason why I say this is because social media was extremely divided into the reasons why the Democratic Alliance decided to take their fight to Luthuli House instead of going to ESCOM building and going to Megawatt Park rather, and going to NERSA, where their fight actually is. People were noting that, NERSA is an institution that operates and reports to Parliament and not to the President. And people were actually saying that Luthuli House does not actually have direct control over what is going on at ESCOM and at the power stations that have been failing dismally. But on the other side, people pointed out that the decisions that are made, so the decision to not build more power stations in 1997, actually lies with the people who were deployed from Luthuli House. So that is why the fight was taken to Luthuli House. We saw over social media the speaker for DASO, Nicholas Nyati, actually releasing a statement after ANC Youth League convener, the TOS team leader and the convener of the African National Congress Youth League, replying to the Democratic Alliance, saying that they will meet them at Luthuli House. So there's a little bit of back and forth in terms of words between DASO and the African National Congress Youth League. And we did see on the march that day, we saw that the African National Youth League was waiting outside Luthuli House, ready to meet the Democratic Alliance. And some people were brandishing shambox and had a couple of other weapons as well that we saw on camera. So all in all, it was a peaceful march because we didn't hear of any violence that was happening. But the question is, where does the power actually lie? Does it lie in Luthuli House? Does it lie in the union buildings? But also people pointed out, which was really interesting, a lot of political parties are actually grandstanding on this matter. And people are saying that who is it that we're actually going to vote for? And do political parties actually center the people, or do they actually center the people when it comes to attaining power for themselves? So it was a really good question of the day that you asked a little bit previously about where do political parties actually stand, because this is a question that has been asked throughout social media, and we have lots of thoughts coming into the 2024 national elections next year, because people are already sitting and thinking properly about which political organizations are going to be able to take them out of this hole that we currently see South Africa in, or is it going to be independent candidates?
Well, let's circle back then to, when you're talking about stability and about service delivery, to the issue of our new mayor. I mean, the chain is freshly polished, and it's been done, it's been conferred today, in a sense. There seemed to be a lot of conviviality, of course, amongst his support structures there, but he's promising to be really tactile and with the people and the residents, promising visits, across the city. We also see this era of collaboration between the Speaker's office, Colleen Makubela, and himself. They're going to work together, and they're vowing that. Is that sentiment echoed? Is there an echo and bounce in social media? I know it's just, it's just happened.
Absolutely not. But, and I'm going to tell you this right now. People do not trust political organizations, especially due to what we have seen in local government and the destruction of local government. We have seen political parties vie for power, but actually not vie for the power that comes from the people, the residents of the city. And what we're seeing is that the residents of the city come second best to political organizations trying to grab power and trying to attain different positions that will position them to be in a place of power come the next elections. So it's all about the optics right now. That is what I'm seeing from political organizations. How is it that we look in position to power? Because they know that there is a great change that is going to be coming come 2024 in the national elections. We're already seeing that in the numbers of the by-elections, and seeing that the African National Congress, their numbers are actually going down when you look at the analysis from the by-elections that have been happening since the local government elections that happened a couple of years ago, especially in municipalities like Ditsobatla, where the parliament actually had to come in and disband that municipality due to the lawlessness and the lack of service delivery that had got to a point where it reached the parliamentary committee body, which then said that they're going to disband this municipality, which led to the by-elections. And we saw the results that are coming from Ditsobatla municipality. And so I think that the African National Congress, along with other political organizations, are actually scared because people are staying away from the ballot because of the fact that there is no service delivery and there's no change in the current environments that they are seeing. A lot of young people as well have literally opted opted out of entering into the democratic process for such reasons as this.
That's quite interesting because, you know, we had a conversation earlier with one of our renowned political analysts, Rebonic Tau, around the maturation of coalitions and whether, in a sense, the majority parties giving some room and shine to the minority parties who didn't secure a large portion of the vote, but who now occupy, you know, powerful positions, whether that is a sign of not political expediency, but actually trying to get things done and showing that there is solidarity and there's an air of working together. I see the wry look on your eyes, and we'll talk about it offline. But thank you so much, Ayanda, for your analysis and your time this week. We will certainly talk again next week.